Da-na-na, upgrade, 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 upgrade. It's funny how I've got these little weird theme tunes for some of the boxes now. I've got one for Scrawlrbox as well, and I've got no idea where it came from. So this is a monthly subscription. So you pay a little amount every month. They send you a set of supplies that are supposed to work well together, along with some information, inspiration, and a prompt so that you can create an image using the supplies in the box. And this says Disco Party. Now we also get a featured artist. We get the bottle post, which is the magazine with all the information in. So here is our bottle post, and art is my drug. Oh my goodness. Subjective. So I think we're on like a disco rave theme here, which I quite like, but we'll look at this afterwards because we don't want to spoil the surprise. Okay, I'm not surprised this is happening. It's coming in July. A 1 month subscription is jumping up €2. A 3 month subscription is jumping up €4. No, €6. Okay, so it's incremental. They're not actually giving you a discount for bulk subscriptions. New subscription prices will automatically debit starting from the 5th of July, and they've put in a subsidised shipping cost here as well. Now what's confusing me is for the UK it's only €2, and yet it's €3, €4, €5 for other countries within Europe. We usually get a higher cost because we're an island, you know, we're not mainland Europe. In order to avoid an even further increase of shipping fees, the box will not include a printed version of the magazine in countries outside of Germany, Switzerland and Austria. There will be an English version of the magazine which can be accessed via a QR code and website link. There is one piece of good news. As a service improvement, all boxes will now be shipped with a tracking number. You receive a confirmation number, and the delivery time will be greatly reduced according to DHL. Right, well, okay. So the advantage is faster shipping, tracking, and less spoilers. Your box will arrive sooner. Now, I've had a little bit of an experience with this. God, I wasn't expecting this at the start of the box. Back at the start of the year, I got lots of subscription boxes from the US, and one of those boxes didn't have any sort of paperwork in it. Everything was accessed via a link, and it actually took away a huge part of the box experience for me. I didn't enjoy accessing these things digitally. One of the reasons I like getting subscription boxes is it gets me away from a screen. I spend my whole life in front of a screen, and it's one of the reasons I chose to do traditional art, not digital art. So this will impact my enjoyment of these boxes greatly, because I just don't get the same inspiration from looking at a screen as I do from actually sitting leafing through a magazine. So I'm a little bit disappointed at that, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say it's going to stop me getting these boxes. Obviously I'm reviewing them for the purpose of all of you to enjoy, but that's just something that I thought I would like to mention. We have got some very heavy duty, looks like watercolour paper here, and it looks as if it's got a deckled edge. And here is our featured artist. And this is very cute indeed. Illustration artist and graphic designer who is currently based in Germany. So our Instagram handle is down at the bottom here. I really like the attention to detail here. And here is our set of stickers. And that's one thing I like about Upcrate as well, is they've got several stickers, but they're just on one handy sheet so you can keep them all together. And Tantani's version of the Upcrate logo is absolutely freaking adorable. There's a little fish swimming about in there and everything. Okay, we have a push water brush. There's no brand on it. Looks like a medium tip on it. I like the push water brushes. I've used a couple of them. Oh, it's like a plunger. What is that all about? Oh wow, is that we can water out? Oh, that's fun. Okay, well, we can see if we can get a bit more information about this. I do like the push button water brushes. What I have found with them though is, although they work well and you've got good control over the water flow, they don't last long. And what was happening, and this one's doing it already, I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not. Oh, right, autofocus, help me out here. If I grab those bristles, I can actually push them in and out of the nib of the pen. So what was happening eventually was that was becoming really loose, and when I was putting pressure on the bristles, the water was flooding out the sides, and that was a Milan version of this I had, so I am not optimistic about this. The fact that there's that much movement in that already. A Leonard 100RO. Now I'm assuming these will be synthetic bristles. That has got a lot of transit glue on it, so I'm going to go and wash that off. This is a wooden handle as well. This is a really interesting paintbrush. These bristles, that took forever. These bristles feel super, super soft. Very pliable. Interesting to try that out and see what happens. Moving swiftly on, we have some Winsor & Newton ink in Vermilion. I already have some of this drawing ink. These are good fun. They tend to stain things though, but the bottles are absolutely freaking adorable. Look at that. So this is dilutable in water so that you can have different saturations of this colour as well. So what I'll do is I shall switch this out for my very own, and that one can go straight into the stash shop, new and unused. Ta-da! So the box for mine is long gone, but yeah, this one's mine, so we'll use that instead and pop that one out the road. We also have some Van Gogh watercolour in pan form. Yay! Happy gem. I quite like the Van Gogh paints, but we've had them in tube form, which I'm not really a fan of. This suits me much better. And they're actually quite nice paints to work with. So they are made by Royal Talons, and this is a half pan, and we have quinacridone rose, and we also have permanent lemon yellow. Oh! And we get, oh, scrim. So these are, I like the fact that we get a tin with it. These are little paint dots of varying colours. Oh, look at this one. This is pretty. So we've got lots of colours to wear. This is exciting. That's a lot. These, I'm hoping that these are handmade. There's no information here, but we are going to check this all out in the bottle post, and then we can test out some of the supplies. Here is our bottle post. So this makes sense now. The theme this month is Let It Out, so this is the kind of disco theme. The Scrim watercolour dots. So they're giving you colour names. Make sure to let the colour work on your brush until the water has dissolved the pigment. So it might be an idea to pre-spray these if you're testing them all out. So they're introducing the company here. Okay, so these are being touted as environmentally friendly as well, which is nice. Colour changing watercolours, glow in the dark, holographic and rainbow colours, metallic and pearl colours, and default watercolours. So they've got a huge range. That's quite exciting. So I'm looking forward to testing those out because I always like those kind of things. Van Gogh watercolour half pans. So this is, I'm assuming it's the same paint that was in the tubes. High colour strength and light fastness. These are quite vibrant and comes in student and artist quality. Okay, the brush. I'm interested in this because this looks like a fun brush. Handmade in France, synthetic fibres. This construction is stable and durable. It definitely feels stable and durable. I mean, I don't feel like that's going anywhere, like, at all. Water tank brush. This is an Upcrate branded brush. Fill it by holding the tip into water and squeezing the handle, which will suck the water into the tank. Squeezing the handle. Why can we not just like use it as a I don't understand. That doesn't make any sense to me. Not squeezing the handle. If you dipped it in water, you would be sucking. I'm gonna test that out. The Winsor & Newton drawing ink. High quality dyes bonded with shellac. Colour intensive and particularly suitable for colourful expressive work. All Winsor & Newton drawing inks are water resistant. That's once they're dry. These are good fun. St Cuthbert's Mill watercolour paper, 100% cotton. This paper has an award from the Royal Watercolour Society, so yeah, I think we've used this before. I think I found it too knobbly bobbly as well, but it's still good paper. Okay, here is our co-captain. Love drawing characters, magical beings, mermaids, fairies and other fairy tale creatures. Yay, why not? So we can see some of our work here as well as our interview. Yeah, these are really cute, I like them. Just a mermaid and a girl hanging out eating some cake, why not? Okay, here are some co-captain tips. Waterproof drawing inks can serve as a good base for watercolour paintings because they're not water soluble. Once they're dry, they don't go anywhere, and I think that's the point that they're getting to. Yeah, it just says make sure you let your ink dry properly for at least an hour before starting to paint over it, because see, if you don't, you'll move it, and it's because it is water soluble. Talking about mixing colours. Treat your watercolour paper gently, and she likes to finish off with some line art, so paint first and then line it. And here's the QR code for the how to do video, so you can watch her create the artwork that is in the box. Crystal Pixel art hacks. Oh, okay, so prepping colours, try different amounts of water. Also water down your paint. It's not meant to be thick like acrylic paint or gouache. Good to know, good to know. It's a bit about mixing, and yet another video with a QR code, which is lovely. I find that really, really nice. I like that a lot. Our sailor of the month is Greta, and she lives in Germany. Oh, I like her work here. Look at this. This is good. Okay, we have an Instagram artist here. Oh, I like her pink hair. Any Go Art. So that's a little bit about her work there. Ooh, this is nice as well. And some watercolour tips at the bottom of this page as well. Okay, here is Emily, and she's doing the whole colour bit, which I love because of this always so pretty when she does these. Look how nice that is. It's beautiful. Beautiful. A little jellyfish as well. Love this experimentation here. And here are the Scrim and Van Gogh watercolours together. That's lovely. Now, this is purple. Are we back to this? Everyone's getting a different colour of ink. Yeah, there's a different one here. Oh no. It might even be the same with the watercolours. I'm not sure. A selected colour in your box. Yes, so everyone's got a different colour. Yeah, that really, really cheeses me off. That's just something we'll have to deal with. But I think as well, you have a yellow tone. For the Van Gogh watercolours, it says you have a yellow tone and a lilac tone in your box. Well, I've got rose and yellow. Okay, so they're still not making it a level playing field there. I absolutely hate this. Like, I really, really hate this. So you can see that's the lovely plum Winsor & Newton ink, which would have been absolutely delightful. I'm assuming that the Scrim colours are going to be ideal. Like, everyone would have got the same dot. To be fair, we do have enough colour range here with the supplies that we've got. We've been given quite a lot, so this isn't exactly the end of the world. Vermilion would have been my last choice for an ink colour though, just saying. Okay, let's move on then. Okay, this is Paulina, and she is a full-time artist from a little city in Russia. And so again, there's another little interview here. This portrait is stunning. This is really, really nice. I like it a lot. So here's her tips, which is real nice. So the Upcrate Battle 30. So here are the winners. This was the Adelaide's World one. The whole box was themed around it. I love this one. These are all stunning. Like, these are actually stunning, but my favourite is this one. Beautiful work there. And here we have Miraculous Creatures. Oh. It's a little baby onion. Oh, that is adorable. Okay, this is my absolute favourite. Like, by a country mile. Oh, it's an onion, what can I say? So this is the inspiration area, and this is artists on Instagram that use the provided medium, which is obviously watercolour. So there's a couple here for you to check out. Now, most importantly, let's see what kind of prompt we've got. The battle topic is, as suggested, let it out. Quite vague, to be honest. Don't really know what I'm going to do with that, but I'm going to have to get my thinking cap on because we are going to have to do this really quickly. So we're going to have a quick swatch of our supplies, and then we're going to get down to this Upcrate battle and see what we can do. So I'm ready to test the supplies out. In preparation, I have just wet these half pans and the dot card, which is starting to curl, which isn't surprising. I've just sprayed it with a little bit of water from one of these little spritzer bottles. I've also got some clean water here, and I've got this this water brush. Now, I thought that this was you know, like a plunger deal, so that you could put this in and suck up the water, because that would kind of make sense, but that's not doing anything. And I'm sure it said in the bottle post, which I'll just double check, that if you press the button it would suck up the water. I don't know whether I'd dreamt that, or, you know, it wasn't that. It was only like 10 minutes ago that we did this. You can fill it by holding the tip into the water and squeezing the handle, which will suck the water into the tank. Okay, it doesn't necessarily say the button. Okay, that is doing nothing. It's not doing anything. Okay, so I figured out the water brush. If you press and hold this button while it's submerged in water and pull the plunger up, it fills the barrel with water. It doesn't fill it all the way up, but it does do it, because obviously you're creating a vacuum. So that's starting to fill up now. I am squeezing quite hard and it takes a little while, but it does do it. And tilt that on its side. Can you see the water rattling about? There you go. I'll show you with my finger. There is water in there. It seems quite awkward to me. The whole point of filling a water brush all the way up to the top is so that you don't have to keep dipping or, you know, I don't know. I'll let you guys decide whether that's gimmicky or not. But what I did want to show you is what the water flow is like. I am insanely picky about water brushes, and there's only a few that I use. And see, my concern with this one is actually wear over time. If I push those bristles in, there's actually bubbles coming out at the top there. So I don't know how long this would stand up to extended use. So I'm going to grab some of this Van Gogh watercolour here, and let's just see what happens. So that, to me, that's a lot of water. That's flooding that fairly quickly. It seems to be quite a fast water flow, but if I keep going it does dry out quite quickly, so that's not bad actually, that's not bad. The proof is in the actual use with things like this. It's all very well testing it out on a piece of paper, but you actually have to paint with it, and I'm assuming if we press the button, okay, there was a whole load of bubbles come out there, so the water is coming out. You can see those bubbles there, hopefully. That's quite a lot of water that's just come off in my hand there from 2 presses of the button. So I think this might be quite wayward to work with. It might be quite wet, but we'll try it out when we actually do our Upcrate battle. So I'm going to test out this brush as well, which I'm interested to see if this holds a lot of water, and it looks like it does. And I quite like the feeling of the wooden handle, I have to say. So I'm going to start with these little dots because these look exciting. And that the water has had time to sink in, so I'm getting plenty of pigment here. And there's a pearlescent one. Ooh, fancy. And this one looks like metallic. Yeah, so quite subtle in the pigment department, but plenty of sheen. And these types of paints, they're usually they're quite different when they're dry. So we've got to give them a chance to you know, to settle into the paper. But that's really nice. That's like a pearlescent one. The brush feels nice, but I think the bristles might be a bit too soft for my liking, and that's purely a preference thing. That's not anything to do with the quality of the brush. But the bristles feel a bit wayward. These would suit someone that's very, very light-handed when they're painting, of which I am not, but again, I'm used to using cheap synthetic brushes. But you can see the metallic sheen that's coming off that already, which is lovely. Okay, let's try this gold number here. Ooh, that's pretty. And this looks like a base colour, so this is like an orange. Now the thing for me is I know that vermilion Winsor & Newton ink is going to be quite close in colour. It'll have more of a reddish tint to it than this, but they're going to be quite close together, so we could use that to our advantage of this turquoisey colour. Ooh. Oh, now that's deceptive because this looks very purple here and it's actually a really nice shade of blue. That's a lovely colour. I really like that colour. Oh, that's nice too. I like it. Okay, and then we've got our, I nearly said Winsor & Newton there, and that's because I'm looking at the label on the ink bottle. Oh god. Yes, so this is our Van Gogh. Now this paint, I've used Van Gogh paint before. We've had it a number of times in tube format, and I'm pleased to report that the watercolour pans seem to be just as vibrant, much easier to use. I didn't really like the consistency of the watercolour straight out the tube, and I was squeezing it into pans and letting it dry and then just reconstituting it to paint. And this colour's lovely. Look at that colour. That's beautiful. Really like this colour. I'm not really into pinks as... Oh god, there we go. Sorry. I'm not really into pinks as well, so that's a testament to the fact that that is a pretty colour. So we've got quite a nice colour range there. Now lastly, I'm going to try this Winsor & Newton ink, just to show you what I was talking about with dilutions. I'm just going to pop this over and show you this in here. You can see the palette too. So I've got 2 pipettes here for this, and the first one I'm going to use just for the ink. So I'm going to grab some of that in its raw form, so that's its neat form. And ideally, if you're going to use a pipette or anything else for this, it's good to wash it out straight away. So I've just flushed it in my dirty water there so that it doesn't stain it. And then I can take some clean water and we can use that to dilute it as we go along. So just going to grab it with this brush. And you can see that brush is sucking up quite a lot of that. So there we are, neat. But if I add some water to this while it's wet, just with my pipette, that rhymed. You can see there that we can water it down. Now, I wouldn't advise doing this on the paper because you're still going to have that initial mark of where you've put the original ink down. But if you could do this in a palette, so if I just grab some more water and chuck that in there and we dilute this down, you can get some really delicate colour with it. That's maybe a wee bit too delicate. So you can see there I'm almost into like a pinky colour there. So there is quite a lot of versatility with these inks, and the nice thing about them is that when they're dry, if you want to go over them with watercolour, that's going to absolutely 100% stay put, but you do need to let it dry, as our co-captain or one of our many helpers in the bottle post kindly pointed out to us. So that's the colour range that we've got to deal with. Yeah, it's a lot of colours, which is really, really nice. It would have been super, super nice to have something really dark to give us contrast, because we see this a lot with subscription boxes, and what we have is a sea of mid-tones here. We could maybe exclude the blue from that, but there's no real rich dark colours. So in order to get a lot of contrast, we're either going to have to water some of these down or mix them together and try and get something a bit darker. I'm going to go and sketch out a few ideas for this Upcrate battle, and we're going to put these into action. Okay, so we're ready to go here, and I've decided to take what's probably quite a predictable route with this prompt. When I do these videos and I'm doing the prompting with the unboxing, I try not to set myself up for failure, and I tend not to go for anything too lofty. So I'm going to go for a sort of Pandora's box idea, but I want to have a little bit of a background here. So I'm just going to start with that. And the idea is that we're going to have a box, and it's going to be sitting on the ground here on top of this little hill, because, well, why not? There's going to be a push of magical fairy dust or something, I don't know. And we're going to use some of the sparkly colours for that. And then we're going to, basically, I kind of feel like this is what I would call a brain fart. And I know that's not particularly technical or correct, but, you know, just a brain dump. You know, sometimes people like to write stuff down. So I'm imagining that everything that's floating about in my head just now is just going to be going like out this box. So I sketched out a few objects in my sketchbook of things that I might like to be coming out of this box. And I want to start at the bottom and just draw some of these in. So things like the Colour Cave pencil, you know, from the logo, because the cave's always floating about in my mind. Because we've got the water brush and this actual paintbrush, we should, with this point, be able to get a little bit of precision. But yeah, we'll see. I always do a lot of cooking as well, and one of the things that's always going on in my mind is what am I making for dinner, and obviously there's going to be a paintbrush in there too. And I think I might have a little dog, not necessarily my dog. 14's actually my lucky number, but 14's quite complicated to draw, so we'll just go for the 1%. And I think we'll have some flowers as well. So yeah, I just want to keep this fairly simple. I want this to be fun. I want it to be colourful. I'm just going to mop up some of my graphite here first of all, and have a little think about the supplies. So we've got this vermilion, and I've got my yellow and pink, and then I've got the scrim colours as well. So I think the first thing I want to do is to mix some green colour. So I'm going to pop a little bit of that in there. And then I'm going to grab some yellow and really water that down. I want this to be very delicate, and it's better for me here because I've mixed it to use the traditional paintbrush. Where does this pink come from? I have random pink from somewhere. Here's this pink again. Where is this pink coming from? Or is it on my brush? It's everywhere. Yeah, I don't like this at all. You can see there's some here and there's some up here. Not really happy about that. This is clean. This rag is clean. Look. What's happening here? I don't know what's going on. There's brown in there and everything. What's happened? What happened to my... Right, no, I'm going to have to scrap this. I'm actually going to have to start again. So now onto my last sheet of paper, and I'm going to have to try and redraw this. I think I'm going to avoid a background just because of this issue. I mean, look at it. It's like a blinking fireworks display. Okay, we're going to try that again now that I've recovered myself slightly. And I'm just going to have to be really careful here. I have gone and washed that brush again as well now. So we'll see how this goes. But yeah, I'm going to negate that background, and I'm just going to use that little bit of green I've got left here for the hill in the foreground. And I'm glad to say I'm getting plenty of precision here. So it's this pale lilac colour. I might actually be better using a water brush for this. Let's try it and see how we go. Oh my goodness, there's water everywhere. Today's clearly not my day. I think I should... this water brush is just flooding water everywhere. I don't actually trust this brush at all. No, it's beading water up everywhere. I am not having a good time. The water brush itself seems to be behaving a bit better now. It seems to have settled down a little bit. So when I'm squeezing, the water's just coming out the sides of the nib. Oh no, and that's just dripped right onto my painting. This is requiring a lot of concentration, and I'm not really enjoying this water brush as much as I hoped I would. If I tilt that in the light now, you can see that there's the sheen is starting to come there, which is nice. I might just abandon this water brush just for my own sanity. I think this is maybe a bit too risky. Now, I really want to see what happens if I mix a little bit of this paint that I've been using. So this is the one with the lilac in it. And mix it with a little bit of this pink. Oh, a difference that's going to make to things. But we're going to try this. It's got a little bit of sparkle in it there, which is good. Yeah. Okay, that looks fairly funky. I like that. Try and keep my hand out the way. Is this dry? This doesn't look dry at all. This actually looks drier here, which it is, which is weird. I don't really have much to say while I'm doing this. I'm just, I'm finding I'm getting on a lot better with this paintbrush than the water brush. And I'm getting plenty of precision with it as well. So I've decided just to use the this water brush for the ink, and there's no water in the brush now. And I'm just using it basically as a dip pen, and I'm going to use this to outline everything because I just feel that everything's going to get completely lost in here. It's kind of, I think part of it is the colour selection that we have. It's quite frenetic, isn't probably not the right word. I know what I mean. It just, there's too many colours going on and they don't all necessarily play well together, and then you chuck in a random ink colour, which for me, you know, as I said, vermilion probably wouldn't be my first choice, but we've got to work with what we've got. That's the whole idea behind these boxes, so I'm just going to embrace it. But again, we've got no real mid-tones and dark tones here, so I feel that at least if I outline in this ink, once this is dry I can go and paint in the rest of everything else and have you know, a little bit of peace of mind that at least the ink's not going to go anywhere. You know, my hand is not the best for stuff like this either, so I'm trying my best, and that's bleeding out already. Some of this paint isn't quite dry. I should probably have left it a bit longer. But once again, I only have so many hours in the day, and I know I'm going to have to let this ink dry before I go back in with some watercolour. So I'm just trying to balance it out here. I need to remember to keep breathing as well. I have to say the nib on the water brush is pretty good for this though. I'm not feeling the love this time, guys, like I'm really not. And I will finish this, even though this was destined to be a disaster from the outset. I should have taken that omen and run away. But it doesn't mean that we can't produce an artwork. And that's kind of like how I'm feeling about this now. I just want to produce an artwork. I'm not even that bothered about how it turns out, truthfully. I just feel like I've got to get through this now. But it's important that we do things like this, because there will be times where you struggle with a painting and it might be something that you really, really want to paint and it's just not going your way, and you've got to persevere, because even if it doesn't turn out great, the chances are 99 times out of 100 you're going to learn something from it, and that can be valuable, you know, for next time. There doesn't necessarily have to be a full set of negative connotations when things don't quite go according to plan. I have to say though, the ink is standing out quite nicely here against everything, well, against my background anyway, so oh, there's that. I just realised as well that if I outline the little dog's eyes, I'm going to make them look like a demon dog. Okay, so the next thing, I want to use the gold, and I want to do all the stars and the ring. Now, I've used so little of that ink. I'm really hoping it's dry by now, and if it's not, well, I want to make sure I've got plenty of the metallic pigment here as well. So I'm really making sure that I can see the metallic particles moving around and that they're well mixed in. So the idea here is obviously for me to stay within my ink lines. Now, no laughing, please. That's the theory. Whether or not it happens is another matter entirely, but I'm going to try my best. And this is a really good exercise for me for precision, for my hand as well. Already I can feel I'm gripping too tight, and it's because I'm tense. So I'm going to try and loosen my grip a little bit here. Okay, I'm going to let that dry a little bit, and then I'm going to put a very dilute layer of one of the sort of metallic greyish colours over the top of this flap, just so that we can make a sort of facet out of it, if you like. Now, I want one of the really bright colours. So I think for the pencil, I'm going to go with the blue, but just as is. I'm really not friends with this artwork today. I'm like, now with a tiny bit of pink, I want to try mixing a little bit of the copper and the gold together. Okay, that's given us an in-between, which is nice. I like that. And I'm going to use that here on our tree trunk. At this point, I've kind of given up. I have no feelings towards this piece anymore, and I'm literally just filling in the gaps now. It's important though, even if you don't feel the love for a piece, well, it's important for me. I'm not saying that you all have to do it, but I think it's always important to finish a piece if that happens. And even if you just want to put it straight into the bin, that's, you know, that's fine. That's your prerogative. I just think it's important to carry on and do the doing and see it through. I'm starting to get a lot of bristles that are poking out here. Like, I don't understand what that's about either. And I really, really just want a fine liner. That's all I really want here to finish this off. I've probably picked the wrong choice of composition here, and I should really have done something simpler and spent time layering things up. It's even the fact that I've got this orange and then the vermilion ink's doing, I mean, it's doing nothing there. So it's been a while since I've had a stinker. This is definitely it. So you do get them every now and then, unfortunately. I feel with the metallic colours as well, unless you mix them with other things, when you start to dilute them, it ends up being a little bit kind of like wishy-washy. Okay guys, I'm going to call it quits there for today. Not really that pleased with my artwork. I think I took that in the wrong direction, but again, these off-the-cuff things don't always necessarily work. I just sorely wanted a deep tone, and the blue was about as good as it was going to get, so I feel as if I've just got a sea of mid-tones here. I'm still going to sign my name to it. So in terms of the supplies then, I actually like all the supplies individually, apart from maybe this water brush. This just wasn't for me. These scrim paints are lovely. They're really, really nice. I like them, and they're nice to work with as well. My random colour that came from somewhere, don't know what that was all about as well. But overall, a half decent box. Unfortunately, just didn't go my way this time. But it's not to say that these supplies are not good to work with. So I would love to hear your thoughts on the box. I would also love to hear your thoughts on the prompt as well. And I just want to thank you very much for watching. Thanks for coming and hanging out. You know, I always appreciate it. And I will see you back in the cave on Thursday for another video. So take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now.